Good morning, Emily. I've noticed that you've been struggling a bit with your English. How are you feeling about it?
Hi, Mr. John. Yeah, I've been finding it a bit challenging. English is not my first language, and I often make mistakes.
That's completely understandable, Emily. Learning a new language can be tough, but don't worry, we're here to help. Do you have any specific areas you find particularly difficult?
I think my biggest issue is speaking. I get nervous, and then I end up making a lot of mistakes.
It's common to feel nervous, Emily. To improve your spoken English, you might want to focus on a few key tips. First, try to speak slowly and clearly. It's okay to take your time and think before responding.
I'll keep that in mind, but how can I expand my vocabulary? I feel like I use the same words all the time.
That's a great question to build your vocabulary. Try reading regularly. It could be newspapers, books, or even online articles. Make a habit of noting down new words and their meanings also. Try to use new words in your conversations.
Reading more sounds like a good plan. What about grammar? I often get confused with tenses.
Grammar can be tricky, but practice makes perfect. Consider doing grammar exercises regularly. And pay attention to how native speakers construct sentences. Watching English movies or listening to podcasts can also help you get a feel for the language.
I'll definitely try that sometimes. I struggle with pronunciation too. Any tips on that?
Absolutely. Practice makes perfect in pronunciation as well. Try repeating words and phrases after native speakers. You can use language learning apps or online resources that focus on pronunciation. It's important to pay attention to the sounds and patterns.
Thanks for the advice, Mr. John. I'll work on those suggestions. But what should I do when I don't understand something someone says to me?
Great question. Don't hesitate to ask for clarification. People generally appreciate it when you show a genuine interest in understanding. You can say something like, "I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that?" Or "I didn't catch that. Could you explain it in simpler terms?"
That makes sense. I'll try not to be shy about asking for clarification. One more thing. How can I overcome my nervousness when speaking in front of others?
Nervousness is normal the more you practice. The more confident you'll become. Try finding a language exchange partner or join a conversation group. The more exposure you have to speaking in English, the more comfortable you'll become over time.
I appreciate your guidance, Mr. John. I'll start incorporating these tips into my daily routine.
That's excellent. It's important to approach learning a language with patience and consistency. Let's delve deeper into the aspect of speaking. Have you considered practicing with a language partner or perhaps joining a speaking club?
Well, I haven't really thought about that. Where can I find a language partner or a speaking club?
There are several online platforms dedicated to language exchange, where you can connect with native English speakers looking to learn your language. Websites like Tandem or HelloTalk can be great resources. Additionally, many communities have local language exchange events. It's an excellent way to practice and make new friends.
That sounds like a good idea. I'll definitely check those out. But what if I make mistakes during these conversations? I'm afraid it might be embarrassing.
Making mistakes is a natural part of the learning process. Everyone does it, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about, in fact. It's through these mistakes that we learn and improve. Embrace them as opportunities to grow. Most people will appreciate your efforts to communicate in their language.
You're right. I need to change my perspective on that. I'll give it a try, by the way. How can I work on my listening skills sometimes? I find it hard to understand native speakers.
Improving your listening skills is crucial. One effective method is to listen to various English accents. You can do this by watching movies, TV shows, or listening to podcasts from different regions. It helps you get accustomed to the diverse ways people speak English.
I'll start doing that. And what about informal phrases and expressions? I often feel like I'm not using them correctly.
Learning informal phrases and expressions is a fantastic way to sound more natural in your conversations. You can pick these up by engaging with native speakers, but you can also incorporate them into your vocabulary through movies, music, and even social media. English idioms and slang can add a lot of flair to your language skills.
That's a good point. I'll pay more attention to those. But what if I come across words I don't understand? Should I interrupt the conversation to ask for their meaning?
It's generally better not to interrupt the flow of a conversation. For minor things, instead, make a note of those words and look them up later. If you encounter them frequently, it might be worth asking for clarification after the conversation has finished.
Got it. I'll keep a note of unfamiliar words. Thanks for the advice, Mr. Johnson. I'm feeling more confident about improving my English now.
I'm glad to hear that. Remember, it's a gradual process, and consistency is key. If you have any more questions or need further guidance, don't hesitate to ask.
I will. Thanks again, Mr. Johnson. I'm looking forward to applying these tips and seeing some progress.
Listeners, I hope you like this conversation. If you cool and improve your English a little more, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with friends. And if you want to support this channel, you can join us or click on the super thank button. Thanks.